है चिंगारी ये है जवाग भी जिस्मों के पीछे भागे
Jungkook's jaws tightened, the rings in his hand rising stark against pale skin as he gripped the window frame harder. His knuckle breaching white, his stiff locked onto the glass, empty, hollow, lost in thoughts that refused to quiet. And I won't wait for the next time, he had said. His eyes squeezed shut as if to block it out, but the words clung, burning. A soft knock broke through the haze. He straightened sharply, chest rising with slow, shaky breath. Sharon stood straight at the door, hesitant. Oppa, can I come in? Her voice was gentle, uncertain. Jungkook stared at her for a beat, unreadable. Yes. Sharon stepped inside quietly, her gaze flicking to him, searching. Jungkook pulled in another breath, forcing himself to look at her properly as she struggled to form words. Is everything okay? Sharon hesitated, biting her lips before the truth spilled out, soft but sharp. It's about flying. Okay, I need to talk to you. His jaws clenched again, breath hitching, his fingers curled tighter around the frame, as if holding the world itself breaking. What about wine? Sharon studied him, heart pounding before she started to speak. Whatever this between you two, you're making it worse. She can't take it anymore, Opa. I saw her. I heard her crying after you left. Jungkook shut his eyes tightly, his throat working hard to swallow the burn in his chest. She's losing herself because of you. And you? You're not any better, are you? Silence took in the room, his grip loosened, his hand dropped to his side, heavy and helpless. Sharon stepped closer, voice firmer now. She asked if everything is okay, but nothing is okay, Oppa. Not for her, not for you, not anymore. His shoulders stiffened. Slowly, finally, he turned to her, fully gazed, dark, weighted with exhaustion. Why are you hurting her? She's not as strong as you think. You keep pushing her away and she won't survive this for so long, Oppa. Why are you doing this? Why are you punishing her? Punishing yourself? Jungkook stared past her to the floor, to the falls, anywhere but her eyes. I know you love her. At that, his eyes squeezed shut, his jaw clenching so tightly that the muscle twitched. The pain flashed across his face like lightning, too fast to catch fully, but impossible to miss. But love shouldn't feel like this. I'm trying to figure it out, Saren. I'm trying. He dragged a trembling hand through his hair, chest rising sharply. Yes, I love her. God, I love her. But love isn't enough. Not this. Not with everything between us. The weight, the past, the fear. I don't know how to hold her without breaking myself. His breath stuttered out raw. It's hard enough to breathe when I see her like that. You think it doesn't kill me? It hurts me more than anything. Watching her fall apart, knowing I'm the reason. Saren stepped forward, eyes shining, voice fierce but shaking. Stop hurting her. Stop hurting yourself. Choose her, Oppa. Just choose her, and everything will be alright. She gave a faint, broken smile, hope and fear tangled in her gaze, flicking like candlelight in the dark. But Jungkook only stared at her, his eyes dark, but not with anger, not. No, this was something far deeper, far colder, a shadow heavier than rage or pain. How many guards follow you everywhere, Saren? How many stand outside of this house, this room, our lives? Saren froze, caught off guard by the sudden shift in his tone. How does it feel to be watched, to know every move you make is controlled, measured, gauged? Is that how you want mine to live? I'm surrounded every second. Every step I take, there's someone behind me. Every word I speak could become a headline. Every glance a story. And you want me to drag her into the hell setting. You want me to make her choose her and make her life disappear into this prison. His eyes burn not from fury but from quiet despair. I can survive this. I was built for this. But her, his throat tightened. I don't know if she can survive me. The silence that followed was suffocating. Seren could only stare helpless, watching the man in front of her crumble under the weight of love and fear, and the invisible change he could never speak. This love, it looks so dreamy from the outside, like some perfect fairy tale. But you know what it feels like in reality, Seren? My reality? He took a step forward, the air between them thickened. It's a fucking cage. A stage where I am watched every damn second, every breath, nurtured, and you want me to bring her into this? You want me to drag wine into this hell, this danger, where even her shadow wouldn't be safe? Seren, one mistake, just one slip, and everything will be shattered. He laughed low, bitter, hollow, a sound that didn't belong to him. I've never feared anyone, not the dark, not the threats, not this world. Fear was a stranger to me. His hand trembled as he ran it over to his face, swallowing hard. Until her, until Ryan. He looked up, eyes glassy, wild with pain he couldn't contain. I hate it. I fucking hate the moment I fell for her, because that was the moment I became weak, vulnerable, terrified. And you know why? Because if anything happens to her, even a scratch, I'll fucking lose myself. I want to run far as possible. I want to go far that even my shadow can't touch her. That's what I have been trying to make her understand. To keep her safe, to save from me. He stopped his head bowed, breath shedding. But I can't blame her when I'm falling to do the same damn thing. Jungkook stood there, feet trembling, his eyes, breath heavy and uneven, like every word he would spoken had torn him a little more from his soul. Then leave this open. Leave this fear. This running. How long you're going to be like this? He didn't lift his head. The silence between them stretched thick, suffocating. There will be a time come, won't there, when you get married, when you have family, when you hold someone's hand and let yourself breathe again. You won't be keep living like this forever, right? You you have dreamed of this for me, having a family, happiness, safety. You want that for me, don't you? Then what about you, Pao? What about your own life, your own heart? Jungkook clenched as if the words stuck place deeper than he wanted anyone to touch. You think locking yourself away will protect her or protect you? How long can you keep living like this, empty, afraid, alone? Is that really living open or just surviving? His breath hushed, his knuckle whitened again. I don't know how to live any other way. Seren reached for his arm softly. Then let her teach you, let love teach you, before you lose her completely. For the first time in a long time, Jungkook's mask cracked, his eyes glassing over the weight in his chest crushing. I've seen you, Oppa, from the time we were kids, even when you were just a boy, growing up in this darkness, you protected me. Her eyes cracked full of old scars. Before your happiness, you always chose mine. Before your safety, you made sure I survived. E- Even when you were broken inside, you made me believe everything was fine. A tear slipped down from her cheek, but she smiled softly, fragile and strong. But now, for once, I want to see you happy. Jungkook's jaw tightened, the muscle twitching dangerously, his fist curled tighter at his sides, veins rising like angry rivers along his arm. His chest burned tight, suffocating as if the walls were closing into him. Sen stepped closer, ignoring the storm brewing him. I want to see my brother alive, Opa. Truly alive. I want you to choose yourself. Before the family, before the throne, before this war, before me. He clenched her words, cutting deeper than the bullets could ever. Please, Opa, I want to see you happy. I want my best friend back. The girl who used to smile without looking over her shoulder, who used to tease you, remember? Her voice cracked. You can't even imagine how I felt when I saw her, struggling to breathe, like she would forgotten how, like her own heart didn't know how to keep going. She was shaking, gasping, like the world was ending for her. She covered her mouth, fighting the sob in her throat. And I couldn't do anything, Gopa. Nothing. I stood there while she broke. I felt so helpless. The girl who made me laugh, who picked me up when I wanted to disappear, she forgot how to smile. She forgot how to live. Her breath hit shoulder trembling under the weight of her truth. I never seen her like this. Never thought I would. The strongest girl I knew, begging for you, crying for you, like her soul couldn't bear the silence anymore. Jungkook's head hung low, breath-racked, hands shaking violently at his side. I can't watch her fall apart, Opa. I can't lose her. And I can't lose you either. So please stop this before you destroy you both. Silence filled the room, so heavy, so thick, it felt like itself had stopped. Her voice faded into the thick, suffocating silence that wrapped the room like chains. It's not as easy as you think. His voice trembled raw and torn from inside. Even if I want to, I can't. He finally looked up, eyes dark, empty, lost in shadow that no light could reach. Sen stepped closer, desperate now, her heart breaking as she dared to meet that cold, haunted gaze. Why, Oppa, why can't you? Her words cut the air like glass. For the first time, she met his eyes fully, bravely challenging the brother she had always feared to push. Jungkook froze, staring at her, silent, the storm and swirling, barely contained. I'm sorry, Oppa. She blinked hard, wiping her tears away with shaking finger. If you can't leave that world, then protect her like you protected me all these years. You can do that. Can't you? Keep her safe like you kept me safe. Jungkook slowly shook his head once sharply, his jaw clenching so tight his teeth ached. But she is brave. Brave than you think she can handle this life, this danger. She can handle it. I can't save it. I can't. Why? Why not? You protected me. Why you can't protect her the same way? The room snapped like a pulled wire too tight. His voice boomed through the room, wild, thunderous, making her flinch. His breath came fast, chest heaving like a man barely holding himself back from shattering. You are my sister. I was born to protect you, to carry you. Can't push you away. I can't lock you out. I can't send you far away to save you. You are mine to keep safe, no matter what this hell brings. Jungkook's fist curled tighter, trembling as the fury drained from his voice, leaving something quieter, far more dangerous. But soon you'll be free from this hell. Yeah, soon. His laugh was so low, dry, lifeless, a sound without a joy or hope. You'll get married, start your own life far away from all this, from the guns, from the blood, from me. He, his throat worked hard, swallowing the sharp burn rising there. And for the first time, you'll be free, away from this cursed house, away from this cursed brother who drags that behind him wherever he walks. He glanced at her, his eyes dark, hollow, something unshakable hiding in their depths. That's what I wanted her for too, Seren. Freedom, a life without fear, without me. But I know how hard it is for her to let go, just like I can let go of her. Before Seren could answer, the door creaked open softly. Gentle, familiar voice. Jungkook? Jungkook's brows twitched slightly, his head lifted. Seren quickly wiped her tears, composing herself in an instant. Mr. Kim stepped inside, adjusting the cuff of his sleeve, gaze shifting between them with quietly curiosity. Is everything alright? Am I interrupting? Am I late? He glanced between them, sensing the tension hanging thick in the air. No, uncle, it's alright. His gaze slipped to Serene, silent, heavy, as she stood frozen, masking her face quickly. Mr. Kim turned to her, a kind smile tugging at his lips. Everything okay, Serene? You look a little pale. Yes, uncle, just tired from day. Everything is fine, uncle. Thanks for coming. Mr. Kim chuckled softly, stepping further into the room. Actually, I came because I wanted to meet you, Jungkook, and since Seren is finally visiting after so long, I thought I would take her home myself. It's been so long since the house felt lovely. Seren blinked, confusion flashing across her face. Her gaze darted sharply to Jungkook, who refused to meet her eyes. Your house, Uncle Kim? Mr. Kim smiled, nodding warmly. Of course, Jungkook told me everything. He's going out of country for work. You know, some urgent matters changes when I assume. Seren's stomach tightened. She slowly turned to her brother. You're leaving the country? Mr. Kim glanced between them, amused by her surprise. He didn't tell you? Strange. He told me this morning. How many days, Jungkook? Jungkook's jaw clenched slightly. He finally met Seren's eyes, cold, distant, unreadable. A few weeks, maybe more. Mr. Kim chuckled softly, hands tucked behind his back. Your auntie is so excited to see you after so long. The house feels so empty without you. But Saren barely heard him. Her eyes were locked on her brother, searching, desperate. Jungkook turned slightly toward Mr. Kim, low but commanding. Uncle, take care of her and call me if there's any problem. But why didn't you inform me, Oppa? My studies are here in Seoul. How will I manage everything from Busan? Mr. Kim opened his mouth to smooth things over, but Jungkook cut in, his voice sharp, cold as steel. You decided to drop your degree, remember? I'm already arranging your desired course abroad, in the States. You don't have to worry about anything. Everything will be handled. Sen stared at him, the weight of his words sinking into her throat tightened. And what about wine? At that, Jungkook's brows lifted just slightly, the faintest flicker of something dark in his gaze. You can meet her anytime, but you can't stay here. You'll be with Mr. Kim and his family when I'm gone, I have decided. His voice left no room for argument, no cracks, no softness. Sen stood frozen, her chest tight, heart pounding against her lips. He was hailing something, pushing her away, locking her out of the throat he didn't want her to see. Her breath shuddered, and she turned feet, carrying her slowly toward the door, decided to leave before her fear exploded into words. But then Jungkook's voice cut through the thick air and low, sudden. Stay connected to Wine, Sirin. Keep checking on her. Siren rose, her steps flattered, foot barely touching the floor. A silent shiver crawled up her spine, but she said nothing, and after a beat, she walked out. Behind her, Jungkook let out a strong, rough sigh, shaking his head shoulder heavy as if world pressured on them. The quiet didn't last. Is everything alright, Jungkook? Why Italy so suddenly? A beat of silence. Jungkook's jaw relaxed. His gaze remained on the floor, blank, distant, as if calculating the price of what he was about to say. Matthew was there last night. Mr. Kim still eyes narrowing. He hit two of her bases, cleaned fast, left a message. And the message? Jungkook glanced at him, dark, unreadable, dangerous. That he's not finished yet. A heavy silence settled between them, thick with old grudges and fresh blood. So you are going alone? Jungkook said nothing, but this silence was answer enough. Do you plan to come back, Jungkook, or is this the last month? Jungkook finally looked at him, his gaze flat, emotionless. I plan to finish it, one way or another. Mr. Kim held his stare for a long, heavy moment before sighing and adjusting his cuffs. Mr. Kim held that stare for a long, loaded moment, then sighed quietly, adjusting his cufflinks like brushing off dust. Hope you aren't stupid enough to go alone. But before he could finish, the door creaked open behind them. Jungkook. He froze mid-step, his gaze locked onto the tall, familiar figure by the window. Taehyung's eyes darkened instantly. Fuck that. Mr. Kim slowly turned at the sound of the voice, his polite mask slipping, frowning sharply. Taehyung? Taehyung's jaws clenched as he shut his eyes tightly, running a frustration hands through his hair. What the hell, he's here in Seoul. Mr. Kim stiffened his own face, hardening. Lower your voice, boy. What are you doing here? You told me you were on some duty and you can't come to meet me. He asked with suspicion. Taehyung's jaws tightened, his hands slid nervously behind his neck, scratching as if to buy time. His eyes flicking to Jungkook for a briefest second. Me here. Actually, the words crumbled out clumsily. Mr. Kim's stare hardened, sharp, unreadable, slicing through the air like a blade. You told me you were on some official duty, no visits. You can't come to meet me, Stein, isn't it? Then felt sweat break the back of his neck. Um, Actually, Dad, I was on patrol nearby, routine round. So I thought, why not stopping for a minute to meet my best friend too? He mentioned casually towards Jungkook, hoping to soften the lie. Mr. Kim's gaze narrowed further. And your uniform, where is that? Taehyung gulped hard, fighting the growing tightness in his throat. The uniform. Come on, Dad. You know me, I really wear that stuff thing useless. I really have to. You said yourself, the job isn't not in the clothes, right? For a beat, silence choked the room. Mr. Kim stared, long, hard, measuring every flicker in his son's eyes. Then slowly his expression smoothened, calm on the surface, cold underneath. Don't play games with me, Taehyung. Taehyung sighed, lifting his head slightly in mock surrender. Dad, I can't do that, right? You know me. I'm being honest here. Why don't you ever trust me? His voice carried that familiar teasing edge, but his eyes flicked sideways towards Jungkook for the briefest heartbeat. Mr. Kim let out a soft, dangerous cough. Ask yourself, boy, how many stunts you have pulled since you were 5? Since you were slid down to sneak out the house, since you broke your first promise. Tell me why I should trust you now. His words hung sharp as glass. Taehyung's playful smile twitched, fading slightly. Not trusting your own son? Now that's the disease, Dad. Incurable, maybe. Mr. Kim's gaze darkened, but he said nothing. Jungkook stood in quiet, watching, waiting, the predator in the corner, reading every word without a sound until the phone rings. I'll talk to you later. And you? When are you finally coming home for the holidays? Taehyung bit his lip, forcing a smile. Not anytime soon. Actually, I'm lined up for duties next to maybe 3 months. Mr. Kim stared, his expression unrevealed, though something flickered darkly in his eyes. Seems like you're enjoying every day far from home. Taehyung gasped dramatically, clutching his chest. Anyo, Dad, you know how much I love my job, right? But Mr. Kim wasn't smiling. He shook his head low, disapproving. I have to go, we'll speak again. With that, he turned sharply on his heel and strode out of the door. The moment the door shut behind him, Taehyung's grin faded, his chest deflating as he let out a long, heavy sigh. You could have informed me, bastard. He glared, eyes flashing frustration. Your mission, Italy, your death trip? You could have told me, before I found out like this. Jungkook said nothing, his gaze fixed, cold, the weight of the unspoken things dark behind his eyes. Are you seriously going to leave without dragging me into this? Like hell, I'm letting you go alone? The room tightened again, quite dangerous. This isn't your fight. It became my fight the moment Matthew touched our territory. I'm coming. Their eyes locked, two wolves at the edge of the dark, and neither was smiling to back down. I knew this was coming after what we did yesterday. Jungkook's gaze lifted, sharp, unreadable, dark as the storm outside. Italy, his favorite playground to stir chaos. He just loved testing patience, huh? I swear that bastard gets on my nerves more than my damn border skirmish. He glanced sideways, expecting a smirk, but Jungkook wasn't listening, his eyes distant, fixed somewhere else. Taehyung frowned. So what's the plan? A long, slow breath left Jungkook's chest, heavy, tired, barely a whisper. I have to meet her. Taehyung blinked, caught off guard. Huh? I have to see wine before I leave, before Italy. Taehyung stared. You serious? You going to her? When Matthew got his eyes on the city, when Jimin just want you? I need to see her just once in case I don't come back. Taehyung's chest tightened. He looked at his friend, the mafia king who never showed fear, and saw it. Just for a breath. A man breaking inside. Jungkook, don't say that shit. She'll come back. Jungkook didn't answer, he just reached for his coat. Keep them distracted. Buy me an hour. Taehyung swallowed hard, his hands clenched. You love her that much, huh? Jungkook's shadow's eyes flickered, soft broken for the briefest moment. More than my life, Taehyung sighed. Taehyung let out a long, frustrated breath, running a tense hand through his hair. I get it, Jungkook. God, I do. But not now. Not when the bastard shadow is already crawling through the city. He got his eyes here. We know since that we found out who he really is. This man could be outside this building, waiting, watching. His voice dropped over lower, but sharp. Don't you see? One mistake, one slip because of her. And it's not just you, it's her, it's Seren, it's all of us. Jungkook paused, coat half on, his back tense, frozen in the silence. Taehyung stepped closer, lowering his voice into desperate warning. Try to understand. We don't want to talk to you. Now my daughter will talk to your son. Did you get that? He angrily said while Ryan's mother stared her husband being tensed. Don't call here again. This channel. He hung up the call angrily. What happened? She asked, and he tightened his jaw. I need to talk to Wine. Where she is? He asked. She's upstairs in her room, freshening up. I just spoke her to a moment ago. He sighed deeply, the weight of his fear pushing his shoulder down. He sighed deeply, the weight of his fear pushing his shoulder down. You knew, didn't you? Her eyes widened, hands clenching in her lap. No. I swear I asked Jungkook many times, but he never said anything. He always avoided. His hand slammed on the table, making her flinch. I told you this would happen. I told you months ago. You should have arranged her marriage. Got her far away from this before something like this poisoned her life. His gaze burned, rage and helpless, love mixing in dangerous fire. I spoke him to Jungkook. I liked him, respecting him even, but I can't give our daughter to him. Not him. He turned, face shaking. He can't give her peace or happiness or safety. Look at her now, hollow, scared, changed. What the hell he made her into? His wife lowered her gaze, unable to meet the truth. And she knew, didn't you, about him, about his world, his business, his blood-stained throne. I only knew whisper rumors. He never told me. He looked so normal, so gentle with her. Mafia woman, he's a damn mafia king. And you thought that wouldn't touch her? The hell he drags behind him? He ran a shaking down his face, the father in him breaking under the man. I won't let him ruin her. I won't watch my daughter fade into that darkness. A heavy silence in the room. Tell Ryan to stop this drama and focus on her life. She should be happy now that her engagement called off. Now why all this? He was angry. I'll talk to her. Please give her time. Let her breathe. She's my only daughter. How can I? He closed his eyes. I told him to stay away from her. I begged him, I ordered him. His wife gasped softly, her heart sinking. Vance at the edge of her bed, phone screaming deeply, glowing in her trembling hands. Stay away from me, and I'll move on. Is that what you think? A hollow smile curved her lips, empty, broken. You promised me yesterday, and you broke it the very same night. You said no one would force me, that no one would make choice anymore, but you did. You let him force you. Her fingers curled tight around the phone, knuckles white. She squeezed her eyes shut, the memory. I'm asking you, sir, stay away from her, give her space. By the time she moves on, this will pass. Everything will be fine. You know how girls' life in this world, her reputation, her future. You know what will happen if this goes on. Jungkook gave a small smile and tight note. I understand, sir. I have a sister too. I know this fear. Her father's voice turned lower and cold. I don't want her to suffer all her life chained to this shadow of yours. She'll move on. Let her give her that vision. You need to disappear from her like you never existed. Jungkook's jaws locked, breath sharp, shaking his hand, slowly curled into a trembling fist by his side. I will. When the time comes, I will. Ryan let the silent tears slip hot as Ryan hugged her knees to her chest. The phone slipped from her hand, finger onto the bed, her hand to her breath hitched, sharp, shallow, as the sting behind her eyes slowly broke. You have always given me hope, false hope, again and again. A bitter smile tugged at her lips, shaky, broken. Ryan sat still, her arms wrapped around her knees like they were the only thing left holding her together. Her breath trembled, fogging the space between the soap and she shallow slide. I want to go far away from this, from everything. She stared at the floor but didn't really say it, only the memories floating in front of her, bleeding like bruises across her chest. Somewhere the pain can't find me, somewhere his shadow can't reach me, not even in dreams. She swallowed hard, her voice growing softer with each. I don't want to be this version of me anymore. The girl who waits, who breaks quietly, who pretends she is fine so others don't hurt. Her head dropped to her knees, and for a moment all the strength she had left leaked out through her tears. Why does love have to feel like drowning? She sat there for minutes, maybe more, until the room finally grew still. Until the ache slowed just enough for her to whisper one final truth to the silence. I don't want him to disappear. I just wanted him to fight for me. Mine sat on the floor near the edge of her bed, knees pulled to her chest, her eyes swollen, her throat dry, her wrist rested limply on her knees. She looked down. Her gaze drifted to the broken glass from the perfume bottle she shattered earlier, its sharp edges catching her faint silver light. I want to stop this. Her fingers almost automatically toward a shard. She picked it up, her reflection wrapped in a sharp surface like a version of her she no longer recognized. Her mind trembled, maybe just a little piece. The car cut through the dark like a knife, but the door ahead was jammed, rat brake, light stretching endlessly. Jungkook's hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckle turned white, his jaw clenched, spread shallow, silent rage. Taehyung glanced at his phone, cursing underneath. Why the hell there is so much traffic? His eyes shifted to Jungkook's tense, silent gaze stalked somewhere far beyond the windshield. What happened? Jungkook didn't look at him, his brows furrowed slightly, shadows under his eyes darker than usual. Shouldn't answer my call. Okay, maybe she just. I texted multiple times, no response. Finally he turned to face him, bloodshot eyes haunted Taehyung's side, rubbing his temples. Why would she want to talk to you? Huh? Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she needs space. Without a word, Jungkook started dialing again. Come on, Jungkook, he muttered, frustrated. Take your turn. Taehyung shot him a stunned look. Jungkook, what the hell? Fast, Hyung, I need to see her. She hasn't come out yet. His voice held a tired edge, rubbing the bridge of his nose. My mom shook her head softly, glancing at the door of bedroom. She said she wanted to rest. I'll go and check on her. Good. I'll speak to her this evening myself. He exhaled frustration, tightening his chest. And make her understand she's not a child anymore. She needs to start behaving maturely. I will talk to her. Her father shook his head and walked away, his footsteps growing fainter with every second. Wynon stood still, watching his retreating figure until it vanished from view. She let out a shaky breath, pressing a palm briefly to her head. I should have checked on her. She turned, stepping slowly toward Wine's room, but then a knock, sharp, urgent. She froze. Her eyes flicked to the front door. Another knock, louder now. Her brows furrowed in confusion. She quickly padded over, unlocking and opening it. Jungkook? But he didn't wait. Where is she? Where is Wine? Something in his face, that terror, that madness, made his heart stop. She's in her room resting. I want to see her for once, he murmurs. Her mother looks at him confused. She hesitates. Just one, please. Let me see her. His voice cracked, his eyes red, dream unfocused, held something beyond planning, something raw. Her chest tightened, something was wrong. She gave a small note, just a flicker. Jungkook moved, rushed past her like a wind, each step heavier than the last. Fine Mom followed behind, slower, her hands beginning to. He knocked once, twice, again louder, faster. Fine, open the door, please. It's me, open the door. No answer, his breath hitched. A terrible silence pressed against his chest. Fine, answer me, please. Still nothing came. He exchanged glances with her mother, and she gulped as she reached Vine's door first. Fingers curling into a tight crease, and she knocked softly. Vine, sweetheart. No answer, her breath caught. She knocked again, louder this time. Vine opened the door, it's Mama. Still nothing. Move. He stepped forward, voice like steel cracking, and twisted the handle. Locked. Something inside him snapped. He took two steps back, then slammed his shoulder into the door once, twice. The wooden splintered, and the door burst open, and then silence hit. A silence so thick, so unnatural. It was louder than any scream. Jungkook's eyes locked onto the bed. She was laying on her back, facing him, and he gulped, moving forward. Fine. She didn't move. The air in the room was heavy, not just with silence, but something colder, still tangled. He circled around the bed, each step slower than the last, as if dreading the truth already pressing into his bones. And then her mother reached the doorway behind him. A gasp, then a scream tore from her throat. Raw and full of horror, Jungkook stopped and froze. His eyes dropped the floor, stained in crimson, pooling soaking the sheet. His eyes locked onto her wrist, the blood, the pale blue sting on her fingers. Her. For a split second, he didn't move, couldn't. His brain screamed, run, move, save her. But his body was frozen, caught in nightmare. Unfolding before him, he stumbled forward, dropping to his knee beside the bed, his hands shaking violently as they hovered over her wrist, too afraid to touch and too terrified of the truth. Her skin was ghost pale, her lips had lost their color, her chest barely moved, eyes half-flooded, flickering, fading, hands trembling violently. He reached for her, but stopped just short of touching her wrist, frozen, terrified, as if his breath could shatter what was left of her. Fine, my daughter. Please open your eyes. What did you do? She collapsed beside him, shaking her hands on Ryan's face, tapping her cheeks, bleeding through the sobs. Jungkook couldn't move, couldn't hear, couldn't breathe. The world blurred, his heartbeat roared in his ears, but everything else, everything, faded. Except her, and the blood, and the echo of her name. At first, he didn't move not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't. His eyes stared at her wrist, at the blood, at her, as if brain refused to believe what his eyes saw. A sound ripped from his chest, not a word, not a cry, but something animal, something torn from the very core of him. His hands, shaking, clumsy, frantic, grabbed her wrist, trying to gauge how deep, how far gone. Coated his finger, his matter, it didn't matter. He yanked his handkerchief from his pocket, knotted it tight around her wrist. His breath trembling so violently it came in gasps. We need to take her to hospital now. He scooped her into his arms. She was far too light, too still. Her head rolled gently against his chest like a doll, and then dragged him. Jungkook's arms locked around her body, cradling as if she might shatter further if he held her wrong. Her weight light, too light, like life inside her was already slipping away. Her breath came in broken gasps, the knot in his throat growing tighter as he carried her through the floor. She's okay. She's okay. She's fine. She's going to be okay. But his voice cracked because he was lying to himself. Tears blurred his vision as he ran toward the door with her in his arms, her blood now staining in front of his shirt. Every step he took, his heart pounded louder like it was chasing the time to stop. Behind him, her mother stumbled, clutching the door frame. Her cries uncontrollable. Jungkook's eyes forward. He couldn't afford to fall apart now, not yet. The hallway blurred, walls closing in, the air felt too thin. He moved fast down the steps to the door, barely hearing Taehyung shout from the car. Jungkook with the help. Oh my god, he murmurs, looking at her wrist twitches throughout the handkerchief. Open the back seat now. Taehyung rushed, heart dropping, his gaze locked on the ground from Jungkook's forearm. No questions, no time. Jungkook slipped into the back seat, Coin's head resting against his chest. Her breath dangerously faint. Jungkook's arms locked around her body, cradling her as if she might shatter, as if he held her wrong. Her weight light. His breath came in broken gasps, the knot in his throat growing tighter as he carried her through the door. Jungkook's voice cracked low, sharp like a grass under pressure. I won't let you die. You can't leave me like this. Do you hear me? His arms tightened around her. Her skin was cold, eyes sinking into his bone. Her head lulled slightly, her lashes flirting barely weakly. He pressed his forehead to hers, his chest heaving. Don't leave me, please. The door slammed open with a deafening crash. The lobby jolted to stillness, a moment of stunned silence, then chaos. Jungkook burst through the entrance, swine in his arms, her body limp, her skin pale, her wrist soaked red. She needs help now. His voice tore through the hallways, shaking the air. Tears he hadn't realized were falling streaked down his face. His chest heavy, desperation bled through every step. Nurses rushed forward, eyes widening as they saw the get a grunny coat red. Wine's mother rushed in behind, crying loudly, breathing heavy. She was held by a nurse and sat down, her mother trembling like a leaf in a storm. A bed was wheeled in, voices overlapping, but when they reached for her, Jungkook didn't let go. So please, we need to take her. It's a self-harm case. We need to inform the police. The word stuck like a knife. Start the treatment fast now. One of the doctor finally stepped in, calm but commanding. Take her, stabilize vitals, move. The staff surged forward. Jungkook held on for one more second before his finger unclenched, his arms trembling as they laid her on the stretcher. As they rolled her away, a trail of followed. So did Jungkook's eyes. Taehyung appeared breathless, catching up behind. Inform the police. He didn't get to finish. Jungkook lunged forward, grabbing his collar in a flash. The hallway froze, gasped, a clipboard hit the floor. Jungkook's face was inches away from the doctor's. Eyes bloodshot, jaw clenched, hands trembling. His voice came out low, broken, deadly quiet. Can't you see her condition? He swallowed hard, barely able to breathe through the rising panic in his throat. She's bleeding out. She needs treatment, not protocol, not damn a report. The doctor stared at him, momentarily stunned, but not out of arrogance, out of sheer, unmistakable grief in the boy's eyes. Taehyung rushed forward, grabbing Jungkook's shoulder. Jungkook, bro, let go. Please, let them walk. If something happens because of your rules. He staggered forward again, rage and grief blurred his vision. You all gonna die, I swear. I'll take
the soul out of each one of you. Did you hear me?
His voice cracked mid-threat, choked by the weight of his fear. The doctor's eyes widened, not in fear but in stunned silence at the gutted his man sounded. It wasn't a threat, it was a kind of promise grief makes when love becomes unbearable. Taehyung stepped between them, yanking Jungkook back hard by his shoulder. Start the treatment first, save her first. He reached into his inner jacket, flipping his badge out of the doctor's chest. I'm Officer Kim Taehyung. ID 3701, that's a direct order. Gasps from the staff. One nurse immediately rushed to the comms. The doctor finally nodded once, not in anger but in understanding. Page trauma surgeon, move her to OR now. Someone clean that rest and prepare the emergency transfusion. They rushed down the corridors with her, vanishing behind the swinging doors. Jungkook stood in place, hands falling to his sides, covered in Jungkook's legs buckled slightly. Taehyung caught him under the arms. He didn't collapse, but he was close. Taehyung caught him, one strong arm under his shoulder, steady like a wall that refused to crack, because Jungkook was already falling apart. Don't let her die, please. His eyes didn't leave the doors, didn't blink, as if sheer willpower could drag her back out alive. Taehyung didn't speak, he only nodded once, short, tight lip pressed shut, the weight of the fear swelling behind his eyes too, but he held Jungkook up. That was enough for now. And then a sharp cry tore through the hallway. Her mother, she crumbled to the floor, her sobs while collapsing under the weight of the what she would just seen, what she might lose. Jungkook's head jerked forward instantly without a word. He moved, so did Taehyung. They rushed her to her side, Jungkook dropping to his knees on the white tiles beside her, his bloody hands hover helplessly in the air before gently landing on her shoulder. And please, she'll be okay. She has to be. She shook her head, face twisted in despair. She sobbed into her palm, grief tearing through her like a storm without a sky. Her voice was a whisper, cracked and trembling. Why would she do that? My baby girl. What does she go through? Vines from tear-stained face turned sharply at the sound of her husband. Her breath caught in her throat. Jungkook looked up to his body, tensing instantly when that came rushing around the corner, breath racked, face pale, eyes wild with panic. Wine, where is she? What happened? He stopped mid-step as he saw the blood on Jungkook's hand. That tore look in his wife's eyes, the scene, the sterline on the smear onto the crimson near the doors that has closed behind his daughter. His knees almost gave out. He stumbled to his wife, falling beside her as she collapsed into his arms. She was alone. We didn't see, and now she was she was saying, Oma, it's hurting me, I can't do. She was crying, begging. Her sentence dissolved into pure grief. Her voice vanished into sobs. Jungkook shut his eyes tightly, feasting his hand that wrapped his arms around her. But his broken, heavy eyes locked on Jungkook. She couldn't continue. Her words fell apart in sobs. Wind held her close, but his eyes locked on Jungkook. But suddenly, a soft shuffle behind the ER doors. A nurse, calm but pale, holding a clipboard, her tone grave. Family are fine. The moment the words left the nurse's mouth, a thick silence swallowed the hallway. She is stabilized, but she had lost a lot of blood. We need immediate donation of A positive if possible. Wine mom gasped, her hand flying to her mouth, trembling all over again. I am O positive. Will that work?
We need type specific or a close match. A positive, ideally a B positive as a secondary. Jungkook stood up. I am A positive. The nurse looked at him, eyes starting briefly to the drying blood on his arms. Come with me now. Jungkook didn't hesitate, not a word, not a glance, just followed her down the corridor like a man walking toward redemption. Behind him, Wine mom gripped her husband's arm, still crying, still whispering their daughter's name over and over. Wine, dad, numb and shaking, could only watch Jungkook disappearing down the hallway. Jungkook slouched in the recliner, arms outstretched, a long strip of medical tape holding the needle in place. Blood trickled through the line steadily, quietly, into the bag label with her name. The ink was slightly smudged, but her name still stand out like a ghost. His jaw was clenched so tight it ached. His finger gripped the chair edge until his knuckles turned white. He didn't notice sting in his arms, didn't blink, didn't breathe right. Taehyung stood a few steps away, arms folded, his face unreadable, but his eyes never left his friend. The nurse wiped Jungkook's forehead. He didn't even realize he was sweating. Don't move, you need to rest here. Jungkook didn't answer. His eyes never left the bag, his own blood inching forward, drop by drop, as if trying to reach her. Please stay, Ryan. Please don't go where I can't follow. The only sound was the faint beep of the machine and the slow, relentless rhythm of the sacrifice. Drink this, even the strongest friend, if they don't replenish, and if she wakes up and you are on the floor unconscious, she won't be impressed. Jungkook let out a breath somewhere between a cough and a sob. It cracked something in his chest. Taehyung looked at the nurse, who is staring Jungkook with overwhelming expression, and she gave a glance to Taehyung before leaving. Taehyung knelt in front of him. As soon as she left, Taehyung's breath caught in his throat as a tear landed warm against his skin. He looked up slowly, and what he saw broke him. Jungkook sat hunched, trembling like a leaf in a storm. His face crumbled, and then, like a dam finally collapsing under the pressure, the soft skin, violent guttural ripped straight from the chest of someone who'd held for too long. He buried his face into his hands as if he could disappear from the world, from himself, from the unbearable truth. I am her culprit. She's here because of me. I wish I would have hugged her a little longer yesterday. I wish I held her so tight that she couldn't sleep. I wish. His whole body convulsed with the weight of guilt. Tears fell through the cracks of his fingers, unstoppable. His voice fractured, each voice sharper than the last. I pushed her away. I let them push her away. I stood there and watched her break, and I did nothing. Jungkook stopped, but Jungkook wasn't listening, couldn't. His chest heaved. She was begging me. It was hurting her. I was hurting her. I always hurted her. I hurt her to the point she took this step. His voice cracked, collapsed in on itself, like his heart just folded. I can't even imagine her pain. A silence fell heavy, suffocating, the kind made the hospital light burst louder than they should. His next words slipped out like a final breath. If she doesn't make it, I won't either. Taehyung stared at him, helpless, devastated, watching the strongest person he knew unravel at the seams. Suddenly, Jungkook wiped his tears with the back of his shaking hands, then gripped Taehyung's shoulder tight, eyes wild with desperation. Jung, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fight with anyone. I don't want to take any life. He breathed. I want to live with her. I want to love her. Love her like there's no tomorrow. I want to protect her, have a future with her, a home, a family. I want to give her the damn whole fucking world. His voice hissed as tears returned faster, heavier, no longer held back. Please show me a way out of this darkness, Jung. I'll do anything. I'm ready to beg. I don't care about my pride anymore. I can't push away again. I can't. And then he collapsed. His knees hit the floor and his forehead fell against Taehyung's shoulder. His chops this time weren't violent, they were hollow, quiet, the kind that sounded like something inside him had given up. I love her more than she ever realized, but never thought she would. He pulled back just enough to look at Taehyung, his pale face soaked in grief. I never thought she would actually do something like this. I never thought I would hurt her this deeply. His voice dropped, lower, distant, almost unhinged. If something happens to her, I won't live either. The sentence hung there deadly still. Jungkook. And before Taehyung could even process it, Jungkook broke again completely. His body trembled as he covered his face, sobbing like a child lost in a nightmare with no end. Taehyung pulled him into a fierce embrace, one hand on the back of his head and the other one pressing into his back. Don't say that. Don't say that, please, Jungkook. Siren stood halfway in the doorway, eyes were wide wet, her lips quivered, her chest rising, falling too fast. Tears silently down her cheeks, and she clutched the doorframe like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Her knuckles whitened, her jaw clenched, locking the scream that was rising in her throat. Everyone is waiting outside as doctor still didn't update after that. Taehyung kept pacing, steps, restless, shallow breaths echoing faintly in the sterile hallway. And then he looked up as he felt a hand on his shoulder. Her face was drawn tight with worry, her brows pinched, eyes scanning his as if searching for some hidden. How's Ryan? Taehyung let out a breath, one hand dragging to his face. No update. She shut her eyes briefly, swallowing down the lump in her throat. Where is Jungkook? Gone to buy some medicine. His voice was barely audible, hoarse. So his gaze drifted, landing on Ryan's parents, sitting silently on the bench. My mother's hands weren't tightly wrung together in pair. Her father leaned forward, elbows on knees, face buried in his hand. The situation is not good. Taehyung nodded slowly, the weight of the everything growing heavier by the blur. I know Jungkook called me, half of the base turned into ashes. So his lips parted in disbelief, then pressed together tightly as she absorbed the blow. Does Jungkook know? He nodded once slowly. Yeah, but he doesn't care, not right now. So he and Taehyung turned at the same time, drawn by the heaviness in the air before they even saw him. Jungkook walked down the hallway like a ghost wearing skin. His clothes were rumpled, hands still tightly stained, eyes empty, swollen, shadowed like he hadn't slept in years. His steps were slow but deliberate, as if each one cost him a piece or whatever the strength he left. He looked like a man who had nothing left to lose, so he instantly straightened forward, her breath catching in her throat. Jungkook, but he didn't stop, didn't speak, just passed by them with the faintest flicker of acknowledgement in his eyes that once carried fire, now only carrying ache. Taehyung watched him go, something shattering behind his stern expression. Jungkook stood still for a moment, gathering himself before quietly walking over to Ryan's parents. His hands trembled slightly as he held out a water bottle and a food container. his voice soft, coaxing, one drawn from hours of guilt and grief. Please, just a little. You need strength. Her mother refused at first, shaking her head violently, tears already welling again. No, not until my daughter wakes up. Not until I see her open her eyes. My dad placed a hand on her back, murmuring softly, trying to convince her. But it was Jungkook who moved closer, kneeling, his expression so heartbreakingly earnest, so raw. He gently cupped her face, wiping away the tears she refused to stop shedding. She'll be alright, I promise, Omani. Please eat for her, for yourself. The moment his voice cracked, so she did she. She broke into sobs, falling into his arms as he wrapped them around her protectively, rocking slightly. Shh, it's going to be okay. She'll be okay. I won't let anything happen to her, not again. His hand rubbed slow circles over her back, calming her in only way he could. And Dad was silently torn between sorrow and a strange sense about quiet understanding. Perhaps seeing Jungkook a reflection of his own helplessness. Then Jungkook's eyes lifted, meeting silence across the hallway, but where he expected pain, he found something colder. Her eyes brimmed with unshed tears, but her jaw was tight, expression stony. She stared at him for so long, aching second, then she looked away. Her words repeated in his ears as he pressed his lips tightly, looking away and hold his tears back. She was right, not because she wanted to be, but because he made her right. He exhaled shakily, chest craving in with guilt he could no longer justify. His shoulder trembled, not from rage but from the grief of someone who realized they had become the villain in the story they were trying to protect. Behind him, the hallway buzzed with muted hospital sounds, beeps, shuffling, feet, whispers. The air shifted. The click of the ICU door unlatching slid through the silence, sharper than any scream. Jungkook's head jerked up. So he stood at first, then Taehyung. Her parents rose almost at once, hope and terror crashing together in their eyes like waves against stone. The doctor stepped out, face still, masked, hands gasped, the kind that calm often meant not good or bad, just prepared to speak something no one wanted to hear. Jungkook didn't breathe, couldn't. His eyes locked onto doctors, demanding an answer his heart wasn't sure it could take. The doctor looked around slowly, reading every face like a chart before speaking. She's stable for now. A collective gas release around the hallway, sobs choked relief. Her mother collapsed against her husband's chest in a fresh wave of tears. Jungkook's knees buckled again, but he didn't fall. He closed his eyes and, for the first time in hours, breathed. But the doctor wasn't finished. She lost a dangerous amount of blood. We have stretched a laceration and transfused it. Her vitals are holding, but she hasn't regained the consciousness yet. She is fighting, but the mind heals on its own terms. If she wants to come back, she will. Jungkook opened his eyes. He didn't wait for the permission. He stepped forward, trembling slightly, but eyes locked. Can I see her? The doctor hesitated and nodded once, and just like that, the hallway blurred behind him. Because the only door that mattered now was the one between him and followed by his parents. Monitor beeped slowly, rhythmically, each tone louder than the last in the silence. The room was dim, bathed in the soft grey of early dawn. A nurse adjusted the IV, nodded quietly, and exited, leaving the door slightly ajar. Jungkook stood outside for a moment, hand resting against a frame, eyes swollen, heart aching. He hadn't dared to come in until now, but something told him, go. He stepped inside, quite careful, like the room itself was sacred. Vian lay still, pale, fragile, wrapped in too many wires and blankets. Her wrist bandages, her breath faint but there. Jungkook walked closer, each step more hesitant than the last. He sat beside her, barely breathing, his hand locked between his knees like he was afraid they would tremble again. Hey, his voice cracked so soft it almost disappeared. He leaned forward slightly, brushing a strand of her hair from her face. His fingers trembling, his eyes drank her like he hadn't seen her in years. He swallowed hard, eyes glistening as he looked at her face, too still, too pale, yet somehow still the most beautiful thing he would ever see. You scared the hell out of me. Do you hear me? I thought I lost you. His thumb brushed gently over her bandages again. A tear dropped silently onto the sheet. I don't care what happened and who was right, who was wrong. I just I just want you to open your eyes. He leaned in, forehead resting slightly against her temple, his voice barely a breath. I'll scold you when you wake up, but for now, just breathe, just stay. His voice cracked, raw and low, nearly strangled by the lump in his throat. I'll hold you in my arms so tightly you won't slip away. Not this time, not never again. He brushed his lips against her knuckles softly, reverently, like a silent home. I'll do everything as you say, I swear. If you say sit, I'll sit. If you say stay, I'll stay. I won't question. I won't fight. Just please, just open your eyes just once. That's all I need. I'll take care of the rest, I promise. His lips quivered as he whispered the last word, as if bargaining with the universe itself, offering up everything he was for just one blink from her. I won't go away even if you ask. I'll stay too close to you. His voice trembled against the stillness of the room, catching in his throat like a prayer that had bled too long. His hand never left hers, his thumbs brushing slow, tender strokes across the bandages, as if that rhythm could will her soul back into her body. He let out a shaky breath from it, still resting against her temple, his lips hovering just above her skin, so close he could feel the faintest warmth from her cheek. You are not going anywhere. You hear me? I'm here now, and I'm not letting you go, not ever again. He turned his face slightly, brushing a soft kiss against her temple, a silent apology written in everything trembling breath he took. Her mother at the door pressed her hand against her mouth, tears sliding freely as she watched the boy she once doubted now break himself open beside her daughter, raw, undone, but utterly pleasant. Jungkook didn't move. Please open your eyes just for once. Look at me. He looked behind as he felt a hand on his shoulder and he wiped his tears as Vian's mother approaches and her dad too. Her mother kissed her head gently before planting a soft kiss on her forehead, and Jungkook watched her. Her mother's hands trembled as it smoothed Vine's hair gently like she used to when she was a child. Her lips touched her daughter's forehead with the mother's love, quite fierce, aching. Oh my dear baby, we all are here. You are not alone. Jungkook watched, his throat tightening, his eyes stinging all over again. He would never seen love so quiet and never felt pain so loud. Her father stepped forward too, hesitating for a moment before placing his hand gently over hers, layered over Jungkook's. His voice was low, hoarse. Come back to us. That's all we want. Jungkook blinked rapidly, lowering his head, guilt and gratitude crashing through him all at once. He whispered again, barely a breath, but clear in his intent. Oh my dear baby, I didn't listen you when you needed me the most. I didn't see how much you were hurting. She cupped Ryan's face gently, brushing her thumb over her cheek. I'm, I'm so sorry. Please open your eyes. Talk to me. Scold me. Just say something. Anything. Her shoulders shook with the silent sob, and Jungkook reached up to steady her arm. His own eyes glassy again. Excuse me? Everyone turned their briefly. Only one person is allowed to stay with the patient tonight. Two may wait in the designated family area. I'm sorry, it's a hospital protocol. My dad stepped forward quickly, his voice tight with worry. Is she okay now? When we can take her home? The nurse's expression softened as she glanced at Ryan's still fragile form. She is stable for now, but we are keeping her under observation overnight. If her vitals remain steady, she can be discharged tomorrow. She hesitated for a second before continuing, voice lower now more formal. And as per standard procedure, we'll need to record her spectrum once she is conscious. It's mandatory in such cases. Mine's mom lips parted, about to speak, but no words came. She just nodded, her fingers still gently stroking her daughter's hair. Jungkook looked between them all, then rose slowly from the chair. I'll stay with her tonight. Her parents turned. The silence between them was full of history, of fear, of broken trust. Her father's gaze was unreadable, and her mother's was dim with exhaustion. Jungkook wiped at his cheeks, quickly stepping forward. Ma'am, sir, you have been standing for hours. Please let me stay with her. You both need rest. I'll keep a watch. I'll stay all night, I swear. Wyandotte said nothing for a beat. Then he stepped forward, slowly looking his daughter's blood-stained lover dead in the eye. We are here for her. You don't need to worry. I know, but please, she needs you tomorrow. Let me be with the one to stay tonight. She won't alone, I swear, ma'am. You need rest too. Wind and twist curled. His shoulder tensed, the room held his breath. You know why she did it? I know. A storm passed in her father's eyes. His jaw ticked as he looked away, then slowly back. That's why I need to be here. I promise this time no more pain. Nothing will touch her, not again, not even me. Her father started him like a man seeing the boy clearly for the first time. Why are you doing this? Jungkook's breath hitched. Because I love her. He shut his eyes as he said it, not to avoid their judgment, but because the truth ached. It was heavier than guilt. He opened them again, this time steadier. And if I broke her, then it's mine to carry, all of it. Her father exhaled sharply, though his nose, his throat tightening. His next word came out lower, heavier. You are the reason she is lying here, Jungkook, and I won't forgive you for that. He paused, eyes locked, chest rising, a breath caught in their lungs, but he looked at his daughter. Jungkook didn't move. He stood there, still, spine straight, but his hands trembled slightly as he curled them into fists. He didn't argue, he didn't beg. You want to take responsibility? Then take it with your life, with your heart, with every breath she fights for. Jungkook swallowed hard, nodding slowly, his eyes never leaving the man's. I will. Will stay the whole night? Jungkook turned to her gently, voice trembling but certain. I'll sit by her side until she wakes up, and even then I'll stay. However, how long it takes. While mom looked at him, her expression one drawn by the fear but slightly softened by the hope. Her daughter's face flashed in front of her eyes, the scared one, the one who was begging for this love which she never understood. She touched her hand briefly, fragile but full of something unspoken. Then slowly, with her husband's arm around her, she nodded. If she opens her eyes, tell her Oma is not mad. She's just waiting. They stepped out of the room slowly, leaving Jungkook behind. He stood there for a moment, a silent still, as the door clicked gently shut behind them. Their footsteps faded down the corridor, and then nothing. Just the soft rhythm of the machine, the shallow rise and the fall over her chest. Jungkook slowly turned to her. His throat ached from holding it all in. He moved closer, pulling the chair right beside her bed, then sat down, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. Jungkook let out a bitter, broken breath, his voice barely more than a whisper, shaking as it left him. You made my biggest nightmare come true. What's left now? His eyes scanned her pale face, every inch of her seeming so close, yet terrifyingly far. I thought I had to protect you from the world, but I didn't know I had to protect you from yourself too. Jungkook's voice trembled as he whispered, more to himself than her, but every syllable clung to their ear like a prayer, barely surviving. His eyes didn't leave her, not for once. What did I make you, my love? What I have turned into for you to end up here like this? His throat bobbed as he swallowed the lump, rising with every heartbeat. What did my fear shape you into? And how how did you find this courage to do this? His finger curled into fist between his knees, shaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He shook his head harder now, as though trying to dislodge the torment clawing at him from the inside. He leaned forward, this time closer. I have to fight it. My fear, my past, all of it. I'll fight it, all of it, if it means saving you. He pressed his forehead gently against her hand, eyes shut. I don't want revenge. I don't want power. I don't want to be John Jungkook the man. I just want to be the man you love. The man who loves. That's it. Sohee and Taehyung exchanged glances as they watched him through the window, their eyes heavy with the grief. If she gives any statement about him, it will be a problem. Taehyung nodded, his jaws tight. Yeah, the only reason no action has been taken yet is because I said I'm handling it. Tomorrow, other officer will come. His sigh was sharp, like it cut through the more than just air. So he looked down, then back at Jungkook. Her focus reckless. We should have any loop to escape from this in such cases, right? Tang didn't answer right away, but the look in his eyes shifted, thoughtful, tense. She noticed the unspoken weight hung between them. They weren't just worried about the consequences, they were already calculating them. If she names him, the statement go into criminal protocol immediately. Taehyung's gaze sharpened, darkening at the edges. There is a clause, emotional distress waives reliability. It gives us 48 hours to handle the fallout. No arrest, no public report. So his fingers tightened at her side. The relief and dread intertwined. Add that to her medical record, not a legal statement, just a medical observation that shuts it down. Then exhales, the weight shifting. Will instruct the nurse, flag her statement as a part of PTSD observation. She won't see police until we set it up. They hold up each other, gaze tense, resolved. This buys us time, but if she names him after 48 hours, no loopholes. Taehyung nodded once, firm final. As far as I have seen, she won't. I watched her, but if there's even a chance, we'll make sure she doesn't. His stare lingered on the glass, watching Jungkook still frozen beside her bed. But I fear if he takes that decision, if he tries to walk away from for her, he swallowed hard. It won't be a good sign. The kind of move it won't just cost, it might end her too. The silence between them was taut. The underworld doesn't forgive betrayal, not from him. He's not just anyone. He's their pride, the weapon. He grew quiet, so his jaws tightened, her eyes shifting away. His only fault was being born into it, a bitter grit left. And now his life is a curse because of it. Taehyung just lowered his head, voice barely audible. He tried once to live like a normal man. You remember what happened? A long pause. If he tries again like this, he may not survive it, and neither she will. Let him be brave this time. If he didn't fight this time, then he will stay like this forever. Her eyes didn't waver, didn't blink. Let us fear to lose his time. He was a kid back then, but now he is a grown-up man. He knows how to protect what matters. A beat passed, one filled with the storm of everything unsaid. Let him choose freedom this time. Taehyung just stared, silent, unreadable. Jungkook's head jerked slightly, his eyes snapping with the sharp inhale. His breath became in shallow burst at his gaze, frantically searched for her until it landed. One was still there, lying peacefully. But something was different. Her eyelids, they fluttered. He leaned in, his eyes wide. Ryan, his fingers reached out, brushing gently over her hair. He lowered his head and pressed his lips softly to her forehead. Please wake up, he whispered, voice breaking. His eyes moved to her lips, dry, pale. He glanced around and spotted the water jug on the table, empty. With a quiet urgency, he rose, taking the jug, moving to the other side of the room to fill it. Behind him, Vine's eyes blinked open slowly, fragile, uncertain, her vision blurred as the world came into focus through the wheel of the weakness. The rhythmic beeping of the machine grew louder in her ears. She turned her head slightly, her gaze lowered, ivy lines, medical tape, the starlight white sheet, and then her eyes stopped on him, standing across the bed. She stared weakly at first, as if unsure if she was real, but the fog in her vision cleared. She knew it was him. Jungkook's back turned, jug in hand, as he filled it slowly from the sink across the room. The faint crickle of the water marks the quiet lift of the rhythm of the machines behind. He didn't hear the slight rustle of the sheet, didn't see her finger twitch, but when he turned, jug now full, his breath caught mid-step. She was awake, barely, eyes open just enough to let it light in. Her gaze was slow, dragging across the starlight white ceiling, the soft railing machine, then down to him. Jungkook froze, the jug nearly slipped from his grasp. Vine's lips parted, no sound, just breath. Her brows furrowed faintly, as if her brain was slowly catching up her surrounding to him. He placed the jug on the table without a sound, hands trembled as through the weight of the glass itself might shatter him. His every moment was careful, reverent. He approached her slowly, like one wrong step might break the moment entirely. Her lips trembled, dry, drained of color, but her gaze locked onto him now. No confusion, just clarity, cold, quiet clarity. He dropped to his knees beside the bed, unable to stay standing in front of that look. His hand found hers, gently, instinctively, like a muscle memory. "You okay?" The words were rushed, broken on the edges, barely holding up the faint, exhausted smile. His eyes were rimmed red, sleep deprived, voice brittle from crying through the night. Vine just stared at him, hollow and unreadable. No answer, no reaction, just silence. A tear rolled down his cheeks as he poured water into the glass with shaking fingers. He lifted it gently, guiding it near her lips with care, hope trembling in his breath. She stared him, not the glass. Her hand moved slowly, as if to accept, but in a sudden flick, sharp and jarring, she jerked the glass from his hand. It slipped from his grasp and shattered against the floor, shards scattering like a remnants of something already broken. Water splashed slightly, fell like a stone. Jungkook froze. His hand was still suspended in the air, his eyes wide. The sharp crack of the clocks echoed in the starlight room, but Vine didn't flinch. Her chest rose with a shallow breath, eyes still fixed on him, empty, cold. Before Jungkook could speak, before he could even move, her hand lifted, slow, shaky, but deliberate. She reached to her cannula in her wrist. His voice broke as he lunged forward, catching her wrist. It was just her fingers curled around her ivy line. "Don't, please don't do that, you'll hurt yourself." His grip, gentle but desperate, shook slightly. He wasn't trying to control her, he was trying to stop her from slipping away again. She stared up at him, lips trembling, jaw clenched. There was no scream, no sob, just a quiet terror of someone who already decided. Leave my hand. No, I won't. Her hand jerked again, stubborn. The movement was small but dangerous. Her fingers brushed the line again. His heart stopped. Why not I doing? Have you gone crazy? Leave me. I want to live. The words landed like a knife. Then the struggle. Tiny, trembling face pushing at him as he reached forward, pulled her gently into his arm, tightly, carefully, gently, desperately. Shh, just relax. I said, leave me, Mr. John. She pushed him, again weak with burning rage and pain. He didn't let go, his arms wrapped tighter, still gentle, still trapped. Then the door burst open. Her parents stayed into the doctor and the nurse all rushed in. Gas filled in the room as their eyes locked to the blood trailing down back of her hand. Shh, stay calm. I said, leave me, Mr. Shaw. Her voice cracked, but it carried enough pain to freeze the air. His soul shattered. Yet he didn't move, still holding her, still hope. But her struggle grew louder, more panic. The doctor rushed in, followed by her mother, father, and best friend. The moment shattered into urgency. The doctor reached her side instantly, gloves snapping on. A nurse pushed a light sedative into her IV. I said, leave me. Her screams were softer now, fragile cries caught in her throat as injection took hold. Her mother cupped her face, eyes flooded. Fine, my baby, don't say that. Omar is there, right? She pressed her forehead to hers. Why did you save me? I don't want to live. I don't want a life where I can't live on my own terms. Jungkook broke the hug, his hands shaking as he cupped her face. His thumb wiped away her tears. She held her daughter's face, now her own tears falling freely. Stop crying. You didn't think about me once, huh? You didn't think about your mother before doing all this, huh? Vine stared at her through glassy, sniffing, heart pounding against her sedative face. Jungkook stepped back, slowly watching, silent. Don't punish your mother like this, but I will do without you. She kissed her daughter's forehead over and over, cradling her like she was a still child. Mama, sorry, she didn't understand you, she didn't listen, but don't you ever think of doing it again. Wine finally broke, collapsed into her arms, sobbing, the sedative pulling her down, her limbs heavy, her heart tightening just enough to fall into that embrace. Oma is really sorry for everything, but I promise no one will force you again. They clung to each other, two broken hearts, stitched only by the love still left. As they pulled apart, her mother wiped her cheeks, gently planting a soft, panting kiss on her forehead. The words trembled from her lips, barely sound yet heavier than anything else in the room. Ryan, he reached forward instinctively, but she recoiled, hugging her mother again. Oh, I don't want to see his face. Jungkook's fingers curled, trembling in midair. Ryan mom looked at him, conflicted, then gently shook her head. Still, Jungkook extended his hand once more to softly kiss her hair, but her reaction was sharp. I said, don't touch me, Mr. John. His heart fell silent, sinking under the weight of her rejection. Please, Opa. Lex, I'm not touching you. Calm down. He softly said. Uma, tell him to leave. Her voice was firmer now, cold like every emotion had dried into frost. Jungkook didn't speak. Her mother hesitated, glancing toward him, but Ryan's face stayed turned away unreadable. A silence fell thick, tense, until one of Jungkook's men approached the doorway. He extended a bouquet silently. Jungkook accepted it. Uma, tell him to leave immediately. I can't breathe. Her voice broke, soft but cutting. The panic it carved through the stillness. Jungkook, please. But her play barely reached him. He was already watching why and every part of him were trembling. Sane watched him as a tear slide down his cheeks. She couldn't bear it, seeing him vulnerable like a shattered version of the man she never knew. It was for the first time she had seen him like this. Her throat tightened and she turned her face away, eyes shut, unable to watch him fall apart. Jungkook stepped closer to the bed, still wordless. Joanne didn't look at him. He placed a bouquet gently on the side table, pressed a kiss to his fingertips, and then lowered them to her head. Just a whisper of a touch. She jerked slightly, but didn't speak. I'll be here. She didn't move, didn't blink, and still wouldn't meet his eyes. He stood there for a moment longer, tears clouding his gaze, but she didn't offer him a single glance. Then, without a word, he turned and walked to the door. The soft click echoed when it closed behind him, and wide eyes flickered to the wicket. The note caught her eye. Wine mom watched her wordless as Wine picked up the bouquet slowly. A bitter chuckle escaped her lips, hollow, detached, and suddenly she hurled it across the room. It hit the floor with a thud, scattering petals. Everyone flinched.